with a little mutter and putter. And what I'm puttering at today, I'm just cooking myself a little bit of lunch. It's like 12:19 on a Monday. And I want to talk to you guys today about a topic that I have been focusing on, or like an area of life that I've been focusing on a lot lately that has been really, really boosting my happiness, my sense of community, my sense of just like connectedness and contentment where I am. And there's a lot of research around this, but it's one thing to intellectually understand something, and then another thing to know it and to implement it and integrate it in practice. So let's talk about that. But first, I'm going to tell you what I'm eating, what I'm cooking. I just cooked some rice and bone broth, and now I'm just going to make a couple fried eggs and some like chili truffle oil. And then we're going to put a little arugula on it, maybe a little soy sauce, and it's going to be fucking delicious. It's like a good simple lunch. So Mondays are usually kind of my reset day because I meet with my Magnetics Love School clients, my members, for our weekly coaching call every Sunday. So I kind of start the week on Sunday. It's like an hour, sometimes hour and a half call if we go over, which we often do because we're just getting into it and we're chatting and getting some good stuff. So typically on Mondays, I will sleep in and just kind of do some like reset stuff. Go to the gym, cook, clean, do laundry, do some self-care business for the first part of the day, and then I'll usually work for a couple hours in the afternoon, but it's like a light day on Monday. So that's where we are. Let me get these eggs going, and then we're gonna dive into this happiness topic. This is the chili truffle crunch. It's so good. I get it at Whole Foods. And it's so good to cook eggs in. Whoa, it's gonna be delicious. So usually I put like some green onions or something on top of this. But I ate all of my green onions yesterday. Okay, so recently my cousin and her boyfriend moved like 2 blocks from me. So now I can spontaneously, all the time, just like in my lifestyle, I'm on my hot girl walk, I see my cousin's car there, and I go, bup, 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 bup. We chill for a bit, maybe we go for a walk. We have another friend that just moved into the neighborhood. And it has really improved my quality of life. It's like, as my sense of like neighborhood living and having these structurally connections in place and prioritizing like creating connection and basically just being like a neighborhood girly has really been making me profoundly happy. And there's a lot of research around like proximity, convenience, connection, and happiness. And then, even that I can walk to the grocery store. I can basically walk to whatever I need. And I do have a car, I drive as well, but like, they talk a lot about like walkable communities. I feel like I am boosting this in my life currently, and I'm noticing that my quality of life is massively increasing. And you may live somewhere, depending, maybe you're in the US, maybe you're not. Make sure you can see me while I'm making these eggs. A lot of, cultures and countries beyond the US are a lot more tuned into the value of this, and you look at like a lot of the blue zones and whatnot, and like these are some of the common variables, like having a walkable lifestyle, having people and connection built into your lifestyle, so, and like easily accessible so that you can kind of like tap into that connection spontaneously. Not having to coordinate everything so much, and also just like running into people on your day-to-day. When I lived in New Orleans, this was very present in my lifestyle, because New Orleans is a smaller city. It's you just kind of, it's like a small town city, so you get a lot of that, like running into people, like becoming a regular at your local spot, whatever it is. So if you don't live somewhere where you can walk easily, I feel you can really still tap into a lot of the benefits of this by like intentionally cultivating and like seeking out these third places that you frequent. So for example, I just made a new friend outside of the grocery store recently. Give me a second. Who works at the guitar store that I can walk to. And I just got an electric guitar recently. I'm kind of like getting my guitar setup going. And I'm prioritizing like building this connection with this guy who works at the guitar store, because it's just like another little stop if I'm like kind of in the mood for some light socializing, but I don't want to necessarily coordinate a big thing. Like that makes a huge difference. Just having a place you can go and be known and like tap into connection, or even like a local coffee shop, just basically like really leaning into your neighborhood and like collecting and really like nurturing regular spots and regular connections. It's like small, the way I describe it to my clients, especially my Magnetics Love School members, we've been having a lot of conversations recently about like building community and belonging, and like what actually is the anatomy of those experiences, and how we can like really consciously dial up our sense of community, our sense of belonging, our sense of connectedness. And I think a lot of times we put so much pressure on individual relationships when it's seeing that, or we're feeling like lonely or disconnected, and so we kind of go immediately to like, oh, I gotta like seek out or like coordinate with this friend to have this one-on-one time, which is wonderful and part of the whole equation. But like when you prioritize leaning into like your environment and all of the connections that are available spontaneously in your environment that you can just kind of tap into, it's like you're eating these little snacks of connection all the time, such that you're not starving for connection. And of course you can have these like full meal, funny because I'm cooking, you can have these like, you know, full meal, high quality points of connection or that you seek out. But you can also, or in addition to this, and I suggest doing this, I might need more of that oil. Oh my god. Whoa. The chili flakes are flaking. Okay, the eggs are ready. Oh my god. Hang on, I need some water. Woo! Oh my god, that is clearing out my sinus. Anyway, you are going to feel much more of a robust, like baseline sense of connectedness and belonging in your life, where you can consciously in your lifestyle nurture environments where you're a regular, nurture spontaneous connection that you can tap into. Like, for example, I have a friend who is a hairdresser, and I was a hairstylist. I was recently like getting some ramen near her place, which was in my neighborhood, and I just like popped in and chatted with her for a bit. Like, it fills the cup so much, even if it feels small, when it's like regular and easily accessible. Being a neighborhood girly person, whatever, um, really does a lot for the well-being of the spirit. So these may be concepts you're aware of already on the more intellectual level, and you may think about as you're listening to this, okay, cool, like what are ways I'm already tapping into that? Into like really being a part of my local community, my neighborhood, and I'm developing connections and or um, seeking out building in my accessible daily lifestyle ways I can just like spontaneously tap into that connection, go chat with that person I know who works at that store, go knock on my cousin's door, run into XYZ on the street, right? Like, oh, chili pepper. These are all the women of Star Wars. Anyway, I invite you guys to think about where you already have some of that, just like, it's almost like, oh my God. Whew. It's almost like, I feel kind of like a Cinderella or like Disney princess, like walking down the street, the birds are chirping and landing on my shoulder. I'm like, hey, what's up? You, hey, oh my God, good to see you. Oh, let's see if such and such is here or home or whatever it is. Like, it really, really does so much for that robust baseline feeling of connection, belonging, and community. And I really, really invite you to look at, not just look at, not just think about this, but like put in practice. Where can you like cultivate a connection at a local spot? Where can you become a regular and like really intentionally frequent an establishment that you really like, such that you're recognized and you feel known? Where can you like, oh my God, embarrassing. I just burped on YouTube Live. I'm sorry, I'm like having a chili flake emergency. Oh my God, embarrassing. Anyway, where can you choose to live in neighborhoods near your friends such that like you don't have to coordinate hanging out so much? It can be more free flowing and spontaneous, or you can just call each other up and be like, hey, come over, we have extra whatchamacallit, you know? Um, you will be so much happier. You will feel the quality of your life so much more robust and connected, and it really will and does boost your sense and your feeling of belongingness. So if you feel any loneliness, which we all feel from time to time, and I think it's worth noting that especially in the US, a lot of how our cities are designed and our culture is set up um, doesn't sufficiently prioritize this kind of like baked in sense of connectedness and community. So we often have to seek that out for ourselves a little bit more. But I was having a really interesting conversation with my Magnetics Love School clients yesterday around how like loneliness isn't really that much about like a deficit of social interaction so much as it is a deficit of like resonance, a feeling of like resonance and connectedness with the people in our life, and also a sense of like belongingness and community. And so it's a much more nuanced. It's not as simple as like, oh, go like, you know, interact. It's like it's bigger than that. It's the quality of the interaction, it's the resonance, and it's the belongingness. And we were talking about how like actually that belongingness is something that we bring and something we get to boost and cultivate in our life, in our lifestyle, to raise that baseline feeling versus like being in a constant deficit because our lifestyle is not designed to support us in those regards, and then feeling very like desperate for connection. Then there's a lot of pressure on social interaction, and where, you know, inevitably sometimes there's higher levels of resonance, lower levels of resonance, like where we have that diversified and addressed for ourselves in our lifestyle, it is the antidote to loneliness. So let me know your thoughts on that. Thank you for listening. Also, speaking of being a neighborhood girly, I got these really cool butterfly earrings, handmade butterfly earrings at the street market in my neighborhood yesterday. Um, anyway, let me know your thoughts. Hope those questions are kind of like that food for thought that I offered resonates or sparks something for you. I'm gonna go eat my extremely spicy lunch, and I will see you soon.